Hi everyone, John Marshall, the DrillMaster. This is my first critique after losing my other YouTube account. This is an Air Force Junior ROTC cadet. There's an evaluation that goes on in Junior ROTC that most of the cadets, to get into leadership positions, they have to do a certain sequence. And so this is that sequence, and the cadet who is leading the charge here, who's being evaluated, let me just click right here and then halt. There we go. All right, is this cadet right here. She's going to receive the salute, and these four cadets are the flight, an example of a flight. And then this cadet is going to take the flight through that sequence. All right, so let's go. All right, so first, I have to tell you, flight fall in is not a command. It's fall in. That's it. It's a combined command, fall in. We don't say anything else. And actually, that's purposefully spelled out in the Air Force pamphlet. We don't identify the flights or the squadrons, nothing. We just say fall in. All right, and then this is probably pretty common to where either the guidon bearer or the first element leader will march off these steps. That's not a thing, so you need to stop doing that. I know that it's common in JROTC, but we don't do it at all. So when and you were already, so the girls here, they're already there. But what's supposed to happen is the commander chooses a spot and says, fall in. And then everybody gathers around, gets in formation. And what the guidon bearer or the first element leader does is looks to the commander's position, gauges about 3 steps, gauges about centered. The guidon bearer or the first element leader is going to know how many are in the flight and how many are going to be the center. So yeah, that's approximate. So okay, we're going to put the flight here, so I'm going to stand right here. I come to attention, and then we go through the getting the alignment and the spacing with the arms and looking with the heads, and okay, good. And then we get to attention. Then, if the commander has to adjust, then the commander adjusts over either back, forward, side to side, either one. So, and that's the way we fall in. So, what you're doing here isn't procedure at all. So you gave open ranks. Let me go back here. All right, so notice what you did right here. Right there, you executed a half left face. So we don't do that for open ranks either. What you're going to do is execute a half left face as in marching. I just shorten it to face in march. So what a face in march is, you're standing at attention, and you're going to, with the left foot, you're going to step off in the direction. So that's that half, the 45-degree angle over to the left, but you're going to pivot on the left foot platform. And the platform is the ball of the foot and everything forward. So it looks like this. You pivot and step at the same time and then continue marching on. What you don't do is face, close, and then step off. It takes too long. And, you know, these little tiny split seconds even are, they can add up and they can take up a lot of time. So the military created that half or full face in march, either to the left or to the right. So that's what you do. And I don't understand the purpose of what you're doing here. It's not your fault. So it's not the cadet's fault. So the instructor here needs to understand that what's supposed to happen is the commander here, our flight commander for this exercise, is supposed to, since the two cadets here, first element is on this line, the commander is supposed to be a full step away and right there over that line and look down the line, take a left step, align the heels, come back to center, a left face in march, 2 steps, right face, you're in line with the second element leader, and then you take 1 left step, look, align the heels if necessary, and you can go through the motions of doing this. It takes just a few seconds, which is not much really at all, but it's proper procedure. That's the whole point here. So left step, look down, and then once you're finished, right step, a right face in march, which is stepping over the left or over the right foot and pivoting on the platform of that foot at the same time, taking that left step, marching up, going 3 steps past the first element, halting, left face, ready front, and then march to the center. In this case, if it was an inspection, then you'd face back and etc. But we have open ranks. You should have, so this cadet right here, you should have your head turned to the left. Your arm, second element leader, your arm needs to be parallel with the marching surface, just like first element leaders is. So get that arm up there. You have muscle memory to where it's just kind of hanging down. In the Air Force, we also align to the front. So what you're going to do is you're going to look to your right, make sure you're aligned to your to the individual to your right. But then with your eyes, you're also going to look forward and align to the front as well. And then the commander gives, ready front. So all the ready front and closed ranks should have been given here facing your flight. Interestingly, the cadet receiving the salute decided to assume this position to receive the report. Now, and then render that hand salute in this position. So returning a salute, a lot of JROTC cadets think that, oh, somebody has to be there in that position, whatever that position is, to receive the salute and, to say something. It's mandatory. You have to. If somebody salutes, somebody must return it. Nope, not a thing. Not a thing. Since this is just a practice, you can report to the cone, the traffic cone right here, and say, cone, requesting permission, etc. And just pretend that the cone says, carry on. You drop your salute and you continue. This is not necessarily the best situation here. Hand behind the back, legs crossed over. So all right, parade, rest. So it's parade. The inflection in the voice has to go up for each of the preparatory commands. Parade, rest, not parade, rest. That's not inflection. It's a tiny bit of inflection, but it's not the proper inflection that we need. So parade, rest, right face, forward, march. All right. Okay, I'll stop it there. You have to face the flight. As the commander, you have to face the flight to give all stationary commands. And that about face is a stationary command. That forward march is a stationary command. So here, you should give about face and remain facing your flight. And then when you give forward march, you execute a full left face in march. So that's that pivot, remember, on the right foot platform. You face pivot with the right foot and then step out with a 24-inch step with that left foot in the direction. And then you maintain your 3-step distance. So facing in the direction you're going to march, I understand the confusion there. Many cadets throughout JROTC get that confused. But you have to face your flight. You have to face your platoon when you're giving stationary commands. So almost on the left flank. So what you did was you pivoted on both toes, really. You kind of lifted up there. So it's just, you need some work on that. That's not a problem. Everybody begins somewhere. So here you execute a column right, but you cut over to the right of the formation. I know that I used to do this when I was a cadet in Arizona. It used to be a West Coast thing, and it's slowly taken over the rest of the country. The pivot was executed so that you wouldn't go out of bounds for the competition field for regulation drill. But this is also, and I wrote an article about it, this is also not a thing. We're not supposed to do this as a commander. And I know that it's just pretty much entrenched into Air Force JROTC, but it's really not supposed to happen. There's no provision for the commander to be on the opposite side of the flight. So make sure that you stay centered on your flight as you're marching. You make sure that you're 3 steps away and centered. Just letting you know, that's all. Nice job, nice execution here. So, as you're marching and you feel the need that your flight is getting out of step, the timing isn't there, then start calling cadence. Just to call cadence, to hear your voice, like some services do, with cadence constant, you never shut up. That's going the extreme end, but not calling cadence at all, that's the other extreme. So when you feel the need as a commander that your formation needs that cadence to get in step, create that rhythm, you've got some wind going, you're in grass, probably not as well seasoned in marching as some cadets would like to be. So calling cadence is just fine. Because that's part of your command of the flight that needs to happen. So and just calling left, 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 right, left, that's common. Almost everybody has done that, but that's not the proper technique. If you're going to call left, right, then it should be left, 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 right, left. You shorten that. You're in band, so staccato there. Staccato commands are going to be exactly when the heel strikes. If you're calling left, then it's kind of, well, where does my foot hit at what point? And so it left, and being nice and sharp about it, nice and loud as well, that's going to help. All right, so So here, as you're marching in place, that's good. That's good. But see how you just kind of went and you marched in place and rotated at the same time, and your head's looking at the flight. So don't do that. You're at attention. So you march in place facing your flight. As the center of the flight comes into view, then you're going to execute a marching version of the face in march, which is essentially, in this case, it's not necessarily a face in march because that would have to be the pivot on the right foot, but that right flank, excuse me, it should be a right flank. So you're going to execute a right flank, go into half step, and then give forward march, but don't just march and then rotate in place. It'd be great if you... Oh, okay. It'd be great if you were mic'd. That would be nice. But that's okay. We'll discern what's going on here. So eyes right. And did first element turn their heads? I'm not sure. But then again, you're on the wrong side of the flight to actually give that command. So you technically should be on the other side. And then here, you drop your salute and then you give ready front, because I can see, I heard ready front. And it looked like the first element leader snapped her head back. So the command is eyes right, execute on that left foot. And then ready on the left foot, front, snap. You're still rendering that salute until ready front, and you're calling it out nice and loud, but you're on the other side, the proper side of your flight, and you're holding that salute through the whole sequence there of eyes right. And then a flank again, and not just that step, 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 turn. Rotation in place. That was a good change step there, because it was double the speed for those 3 required steps. So here, what you should have done is, as soon as you give flight halt, then you execute a right face your flight, and then give whatever command is required next. So you gave cover, I think it was. So as you move, flight members, keep your hands on your thighs. They shouldn't just kind of wiggle around or be held out away from your thighs. Your thighs are, or your hand is right up on your thigh. So is the command present arms required for your report in and your report out? I just am wondering, because that's not a thing unless it's required to judge the whole flight. I get that, but if it doesn't specify that present arms is required, that you're just supposed to turn around and salute, that's the thing. Commanders salute for their formations. All right, so you give flight, fall out. Again, it's a command of just fall out. All right, great job, sweetheart. And that's the only time I will ever use that, sweetheart, because this is my granddaughter, Britannia. Thanks. Have a great day.